GSTR1 but has filed GSTR3B, meaning thereby he has paid the taxes but did not file GSTR1, not getting auto-populated. Why credit would be denied in the hands of customer? Point number one. Point number two, he has collected the amount, customer has paid the amount and vendor has collected the amount, and it's a vendor who has not filed GSTR1 and GSTR3B. Where is my fault? Where is my fault? And let me make out one good case for all of you, and you will agree with me today that you cannot pass on blame to the recipient, customer. And I'm arguing this case before you. If at all I have to argue this case before any honorable court, I will say, Lordship, when GST got introduced, it was banking on a automized and digitized GST return system. GSTR1, outward supply by the vendor, getting auto-populated in GSTR2A for the buyer. If my supplier has not uploaded any invoice particulars, as a recipient, I could have added that transaction while finalizing GSTR2. And once I'm adding certain invoice, which is not uploaded by vendor, gets auto-populated in GSTR1A for my vendor, either to accept or reject. So it was expected from the supplier to confirm either accept or reject of the transaction which is added by the buyer in finalizing GSTR2 and then GSTR3. Had this return system continued, just think on those lines. Had this return system continued, then as a customer, I could have shown my bona fideness to the department that I added the transaction which was not uploaded by the vendor, which was visible to the department, which was visible to my vendor. Since you as a government of India, either central government or state government or GSTN, you people have not introduced GSTR2 and 3, have done away with. Where is my fault? Why as a customer, you will say, Bimal, it is your fault because supplier has not deposited. Sir, if you would have given me that window of GSTR 1, 2, and 3 as envisaged, then I could have shown this transaction in that relevant month while finalizing GSTR 2, which government would have known, even my vendor could have known. Since they haven't taken any corrective measure, why this fault finding on me as a customer, no credit available? Now, those who have given the answer no in chat box, that credit would be denied in the hands of customer for fault of supplier. This fault of supplier could have come to the table had we continued with GSTR 2 and 3. And it is not continued by Government of India. Hence, the provision of Section 16, subsection 2 could not be complied because that was dependent on our return filing system 37, 38, 39, 41, 42 matching of ITC. If my machinery provision for reconciliation of ITC was not in place and is being withdrawn by the government, how can I be penalized as a customer? Credit is not available. So I made out a case before you, those who have said credit would be denied in the hands of customer. Please tell me, I've given you my argument. After listening this argument, still you believe that customer faulted that? I was dependent on GST system. You withdrawn this GST return system. Why this fault finding only on customer? Please tell me, will court is not going to listen this subject matter? Please tell me now, please give me the answer in a chat box. What is your answer? Still you believe customer credit would be denied for fault of supplier. It is only fault of supplier? No, no, no. It is fault of government as well. Please tell me. Now tell me in a chat box. Credit. After listening this, if at all you become judge, what is your take? Credit available or not available? Say yes and no. Tell me in a chat box yes and no. I'm leaving it to you. You can give your judgment, whatever you really. To my mind, I'm of the opinion that this fault finding in the hands of recipient can be argued, and I'm hopeful credit would be available. Credit could be available. And that's what we are discussing today. So back to that client position once again. So client was telling me, Bimalji, to my knowledge, my supplier has deposited the tax. That's what he said. And last he said, I'm very honest taxpayer. I'm filing my regular return. So all four conditions of section 16, subsection 2 are satisfied. So he asked me simple question, sir, credit available or not available? So what is your take? Tell me in a chat box, what is your answer? Whether credit would be available, say yes or no. Only this much, yes or no. So that I get a feeler, yes, you're getting. Credit is available or not. So maybe I'm asking you guys to write on a chat box so that we both would be there. That's the reason. Be active. Enjoy the session. I'm not making any PowerPoint presentation. I'm helping you to build up your confidence in GST. Credit is available. Same answer I gave to the client. Client then telling me, sir, you're not understanding. You're not getting my point. I said, what is the point you are making? You said you're satisfying all four conditions, credit available, and for getting answer, you have come all the way from Hyderabad to Delhi. And that too, you're giving me 50,000 rupees. He again coming back and telling me, sir, you're not understanding. When repeatedly 3 times he has said, you're not understanding, you're not understanding, you're not understanding, I understood then. Then it clicked to my mind. I said, he's a guy who has got some problem watch. And then I started. I asked him, boss, tell me one thing honestly. Is there any search conducted at your premises in last month or recent past? Then he started and telling me, sir, why you're asking this question? I said that you're always putting ball in my court and telling me that I'm not understanding. Now I'm understanding you got pain somewhere else, which you are sounding other way around. It looks like to me something is wrong with you. There must be something search and seizure at your end. And then I asked him, boss, I'm your GST doctor. And I'm using one term, please. Client need to be naked. I'm telling you, need to be naked for the fact of the matter. Whenever they are looking some right advice, diagnosis from GST doctor, GST consultant. I told him same thing. I said, boss, be honest. Tell me what is the fact, then I will be able to help you out. Then he started, telling me all the facts one after another. I asked him, I said, you don't give me fact. Let me ask each question and you answer it. I said, boss, you said you got invoice for supply of goods with the eBay bill was generated. He said, sir, yes, eBay bill was generated. Second question I posted to him, whether there was really movement of goods or only the invoice generated and eBay bill got generated. He stopped for a minute and said, sir, it is only invoice and eBay bill got generated. There was no movement of goods. Listen carefully, no movement of goods. So third question I posted to him, it means that there is a case that you have taken credit on the invoice without supply of goods, without supply of goods. My third, he said, yes, sir, I taken credit on bogus invoice. My fourth point, I said, tell me, in this case, when you are saying it is a bogus one, what department has asked you at the time of search and seizure and doing the Panchnama? Now my excellency starts, and listen carefully. Here is the practice. Here is the practice. I asked him the first question, what is the impression in your mind department has come for the search in your premises? He said, sir, department was having some information that I have availed credit on bogus invoice, on bogus invoice. Do you understand meaning of bogus invoice? Now, you must be knowing that rule 36 sub rule 4, capping of credit 10%, which is not reflected in GSTR 2A. Rule 86A, where your ITC gets blocked, you can't use your ITC for discharging output tax or claiming refund. Why government has brought all these rules and regulation? They have brought these rules to ensure that this bogus invoice and corresponding credit should be stopped. So first, now you take down my point, then I will tell you the beauty of our discussion. When we can start power to arrest provision, and this guy was a little under threatening, and he came all the way immediately after the Panchnama was done, and he was telling me, now honestly, sir, I'm having great fear that I may be arrested. I may be arrested. Now I asked him that, okay, opinion task is over because 50,000 rupees opinion is over. Now you wanted me to do complete diagnostic for your business, and I need to safeguard you from GST officials. But I would be doing everything within legal four corners. And today also I'm going to educate you what are the legal four corners wherein you need to act on, wherein you need to really play your important role. Section 69, you can note down on a piece of paper, is a section, underlying section for power to arrest. Who can issue this power? Commissioner. Commissioner is being empowered under section 69 when he has a reason to believe. He has a reason to believe. So this line, reason to believe, is very subjective, very subjective. Maybe from department side, he may treat that as a taxpayer, I'm into evasion of taxation. That would be his reason to believe. But from my side, Mr. Shibham Roy Chowdhury, kindly correct yourself. I'm talking about section 69 and power to arrest provision, where commissioner word is being used. I'm not talking about inspection, search, and seizure. I'm saying power to arrest. And I started my discussion on power to arrest. Nevertheless, come back. Now, my next point is that the reason to believe is a subjective term. Now, on this point, you got number of judgment. Maybe in favor of department, maybe in favor of taxpayer. This reason to believe must be substantiated. Tomorrow, if arrest is being done by the department and I need to file writ in the High Court, first point I need to make out that this reason to believe need to be proven. If this is not proved by the department, then arrest proceedings are void. Believe me. So first point, commissioner, then reason to believe, and there are 4 specific offenses under section 132 subsection 1, clause A, B, C, D. So maybe you are writing on that piece of paper. It will help you. Really, believe me, when you look at this, your handmade note tomorrow, it will be so good for you. So section 69 first asking commissioner to give this order of arrest when he has a reason to believe, and there are 4 specified offenses under section 132 subsection 1 clause A. Supply of goods or services without invoice. So as a taxpayer, you're supplying goods and services without issuing invoice. One of the specified offense. Second, you are issuing of invoice but without supply of goods or services. You are only issuing bogus invoice without supply of goods or services. Third condition, as a customer, you are availing credit on such bogus invoices wherein no supply of goods or services was done. Clause number D, 4th specified offense. You have collected the GST from the customer and you have not deposited to the government exchequer within a period of 3 months. Within a period of 3 months. So these are 4 specified offense. And for these 4 specified offense, commissioner has reason to believe that as a taxpayer, you are the party who is engaged in evasion of tax. He can order for arrest. Now coming back to the real case, client is sitting in front of me. I asked my client, I said, boss, you have taken credit on wrong invoice. But if at all we want to litigate the matter, I can always say I was having invoice supported by eBay bill. Now, after this eBay bill, that, check naka, which is happening throughout the country, is being done away with. So that stamping is not required. So your invoice, your eBay bill, you can always articulate as if you have received the goods, but actually you have not received the goods. So he was asking me, Bimal ji, how to save? Kaise bache? How to safeguard myself? What is the way forward? And I said, what is the situation? What this government official who came to your premises for search and seizure, why they want to arrest you? He said, sir, they are saying I'm the kingpin. I'm the kingpin. Have you heard the word kingpin in doing this bogus invoice business? So they are treating me as the party who has initiated. Now let me tell you, and let me also defend you. Had this GSTR 1 and 2, 3 continued, 1, 2, 3 continued, then this kind of bogus invoices could have been avoided. How come possible? You look at bogus invoices business in the market, how things are happening. There is supply chain. The same case exists in my client case. There were 4 parties involved, A, B, C, and D. My customer is C. Now I asked him, boss, where from you got the invoice? He said, I had taken this invoice from B. I asked where from B got the invoice. He said, maybe from A. Then I asked him from A, where from A got the invoice. Then he said, sir, I'm not aware of where from A got the invoice. Since we were discussing all this subject matter, my client confessed to me that of course it was bogus invoice and it was done on a percentage basis. So I'm not deliberating much. This is a public forum, virtual meeting going on, but that is what my client confessed on percentage basis. Now, listening all this thing, I asked him only one question. And this question I'm posting to all of you. I asked him, Mr. C, customer, what is your take? What you want? He said, sir, I know I've taken the bogus invoice, but not 100%. I'm doing my business genuinely also, but there are certain percentage of my business where bogus invoice involved. I want you to safeguard me. Take all safeguard interest. So client came only for opinion, converted into complete handling of search, seizure, and arrest. So you'd be knowing 50,000 for 1 hour discussion. Now taking up whole subject matter, what would be the fees? Just decide by yourself being consultant. Your role starts now. That's the point. Now let me tell you how I have saved him from arrest provision. How I have saved him from arrest provision. So let me give you the background of the provision, then I will tell you how I have saved him. I said 4 specified offenses, right? You may have noted down. Under section 132, subsection 1, Roman 1, they have categorically said, Bimal, if somebody who has evaded the tax or wrongly availed the credit or utilized the credit or taken erroneous refund for more than 5 crore rupees, then that offense would be called non-bailable offense, cognizable offense, non-bailable, more than 5 crore, more than 5 crore. And period of imprisonment as specified, it's minimum 5 years plus fine, plus fine. If offense amount is falling between 2 crore to 5 crore, then the period of imprisonment would be 3 years plus fine. 3 years plus fine. Fine means equivalent, Avinash. Fine means equivalent of tax evaded. That is going to be levied. So 2 crore to 5 crore, 3 years, and 1 crore to 2 crore, 1 crore to 2 crore, it is 1 year. And if you are engaged in repeated offense, second or repeated offense, then the period of imprisonment is 5 years and minimum 6 months. That is what the provision, minimum 6 months. In case you prove your case, minimum 6 months. So these are the given provision. Keeping these provision in mind, now I need to help my client. I asked him, boss, now I'm taking your assignment as a full. And he was having some fear. As you all know, in search and seizure, the first and foremost problem, as we normally see for the client is not confident enough. They are not ready and willing to face the GST officer. First of all, they are on wrong footing, taken credit on bogus invoice. They are weak inside, hence they are not in a position to make out their case, to stand out before the GST officer. Do you all agree? That is what I've seen practically all over India, that client is not comfortable to face the GST officer for the reason cited. Maybe this is what I could see. Can I see your comment in the chat box? What is your experience? To my mind, even though they are genuine and honest taxpayer, but they are not comfortable with, they can't make out their case. That's what I've seen in the market. Tell me, as per your experience, this is what I've seen. They have always fear in their mind. What kind of fear I'm not aware of. And department, secondly, what they do, they always come in the evening, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Their timing is scheduled. They will not come in the morning. They will come at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening. First 2 hours, 3 hours, they will have all sweet talk, mild talk. And around 8, 9 o'clock, they will start talking tough and telling you, Bimal, you have done so and so. Bimal, you have taken ITC on bogus invoice. Bimal, show me this, show me that at 9 o'clock. So by that time, you are in a situation that what to do and what not to do. If you start calling to your consultant or someone who can come and help you, these guys will say, government, those who have come, officer has come, proper officer, they will say, no, no one is allowed from outside. Neither you can go out as well. And whatever you're talking, talk in front of us. So these are the process I'm telling you, which is normally happening in the market. By 12 midnight, by the time you start getting number of calls from your residents, what happened? Why you're not back to home? These officers will start pushing you, boss. We have catch hold of your books. We have detained your accounts. We have catch hold of your computer, laptop, your mobile, and we have confirmed information that this much of evasion has happened with you. And this is what you're the party, you have done it. You deposit this much of money now. If you don't deposit, we are not going to leave it to you. And they will start building up this pressure slowly and slowly after 12 midnight. So by 1 o'clock, by 2 o'clock, by 3 o'clock, harassment start. Harassment of what? I will put you under bar, you know. I will arrest you now. Don't talk nonsense. This is the way they change their tone. We really need this kind of, learning class for even top bureaucracy, how these officers really undertaking search and seizure. They are not undertaking search and seizure in the way need to be. It turned out to be a great harassment, coercive, putting pressure, undue pressure. That's what on an average, my say is that is what they are normally doing. Please tell me in the chat box, am I right in making this observation? Please tell me, I'm just asking you, this statement which I'm telling you, this is what I have seen normally. This is what they normally do. So this is what I've seen in the market happening. So all of you are saying yes, none is coming back and telling me no, it is not the case. So everyone agree this is what they normally do. And because of coercive action, because of pressure, because of harassment, you end up making some payment. First. Second, you end up agreeing to something which is not supposed to be. Just to buy a peace of mind, you end up making payment first. Second, agreeing to something which is not supposed to be. And they will make you agree. They will put their word in your mouth and say, write in this in Panchanama. Write all this thing in Panchanama. I'm going to tell you, believe me, you need to really make out. And after getting Panchanama, because by that time, till the time this investigation search is over, you're not being allowed, first of all. So next day when you get Panchanama and everything, you must try to dig out the information. And wherever you want to rebut, wherever you want to say this is incorrect, write on a letter and say this is what incorrectly being you have got from my client side by coercion, by putting pressure, by harassment. We do not agree for the same. We do not agree for the same. Rebut is very, very important. Very, very important. I will tell you the summon also, how to handle the summon. I will tell you, just you have to go all along with me. I will make out 2-3 case studies. Within this 2-3 case studies, I will tell you the provision also. Now, this client said, sir, I am leaving whatever money you want to charge. Look at the PT part, the kind part of my client. He said, sir, I have come with full confidence. He has come all the way from Hyderabad to Delhi. Whether he hasn't got any consultant in Hyderabad, I'm just making out a case. He must be having. But still he thought Bimal Jain would be the right person to safeguard him. He said, sir, whatever money you will say, I will pay to you. And I'm ready to disclose my honest fact to you. Help me out. I do not want to see that I'm being arrested. I'm I'm enjoying social prestige in my society, in my family. Sorry, sir, kindly help me that I should not be arrested. Now, Bimal Jain, Excellency start, and that would be your Excellency. I made you Bimal Jain. You all are Bimal Jain today. So you would be doing this activity for this client. First, you must check what is the amount of offense involved. First check. If it is more than 5 crore, then it is a grave subject matter. Then power to arrest with non-bailable offense could be initiated. So first task, you should make sure that offense, somebody is speaking out, unmute please. Yeah. Somebody is still speaking. I will request organizer to mute all everyone.
Yes, sir. Just one. Done. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So first task you would be doing that check out the amount of offense, whether it is more than 5 crore or less than 5 crore. If it is more than 5 crore, then you have a real fear. If it is less than 5 crore, you can relax yourself. Because then less than 5 crore is a bailable offense. Are bailable offense, and more than 5 crore non-bailable offense. So within the law, you can also note down that this is what the gravity of amount of offense. Second, even if it is less than 5 crore and this client has come up to me and telling me, sir, looks like to me my amount of offense wrongly credit avail, maybe at most 4.5 crore, not more than that. He said this fact to me, maximum 4.5 crore. So I got some strength. Then I asked next question to him. I said, you said there are 4 parties involved, A, B, C, D. This is what the position I told you. How department come to know that you are having bogus invoice? You have availed credit on bogus invoice. B was raising invoice. You were taking credit on B's invoice. B was also getting invoice from A, getting auto-populated in GSTR to A or B, and that credit is being used for discharging output tax while raising invoice to C. So for you, it was all evident your credit was coming in 2A. Your preceding supplier, B, was also having credit in GSTR 2A. Where was the problem? Problem was with Mr. A. Mr. A was only cutting the invoices. There was nothing in GSTR 2A. Nothing in GSTR 2A. He was only cutting the invoices. So output tax invoice, only raising invoice. And this all happened, this tax evader mushroom of tax evaders. They have started their business the day they came to know that GSTR 2 and 3 is not implemented in GST system. See, A was courageous enough, tax evader, without having anything in 2A, because he was not having any purchase invoice. He was only cutting the outward invoice, right? So A was a little, he was thinking who will catch hold of him. He never imagined that government may come out with GSTR 2A in future. October 2018, the period which I'm referring to, October 2018, GSTN had introduced GSTR 2A. GSTR 2A. GSTR 2A. See, now try to understand. Now, some Kaushal Gupta is saying, sir, but he had to pay taxes through GSTR 3B. Kaushal, try to understand. This 2A came only in the month of October 18. By that time, he was filing GSTR 1. Auto reflected in 2A, but not filing GSTR 3B. Not filing GSTR 3B, which is one of the conditions for making payment of tax. So nobody knows about it. That is what I discussed, section 16, subsection 2, clause C. This is what I discussed. He was only filing 1, auto-populated in 2A or B, but not GSTR 3B, because he was thinking, who will come to know whether I paid the taxes or not? Even as a taxpayer, we were not knowing any of GSTR 2A. We were also struggling with, how do I come to know credit coming in my 2A, but whether my supplier has paid the taxes or not? Was it not the case? Kaushal, tell me. Kaushal, since you asked this question, that's the reason I deliberated. I hope all the participants has got my point. Am I clear? So Kaushal has raised this point to me, but I made it very clear. So initial thought process was different. And that is what I've argued. That is what I've argued. That section 16, subsection 2, clause C, I can very well make out my case that credit should not be denied in the hands of honest recipient, customer, for fault of supplier. This is what it was going on. So nevertheless, it was less than 5 crore. Kaushal, it looks like you are the person with not updated provision. Sorry, Kaushal. Now, as a instructor, I'm making this remarks on you. For region, this blocking of eBay bill for non-filing 2 period, this is only in 2019, my dear. Only in December, October 2019, Kaushal. See, Kaushal again posted on a chat box. He said, sir, now again he's saying, yes, correct, sir. See, try to understand. I'm only talking about these tax evasion which has arisen in 17, 18, 18, 19. And then we got Rule 36, Sub-Rule 4 on 9th of October 2019. Then we got Rule 86A on 26 December 2019. Then we got that you can't generate eBay bill if you don't file consecutively 2 tax period 3B. These are all happening in the last fag end of 2019. Prior to that, everything was open, and those tax evaders with no fear in their mind, they have done it. They have done it. That is what they have done it. And that is what the problem all about. But nevertheless, since he asked, I responded back to you. Now, coming. Now it is getting tougher and tougher. And way forward, again, it is getting tougher and tougher. Listen carefully. Now this client is saying, sir, I got 25% of my business, which is ITC taken on bogus invoice. And he asked me, sir, you have to take this case and please present my case to the authority. I cannot really face them. I'm not comfortable. And he has already given me free hand. Sir, whatever money you will say, I will give it to you. All right, not an issue, Hitesh Jain. Sometime what happened, this is the mindset. Oh, that's what it goes on. But nevertheless, listen carefully. At the moment, see, we are discussing, we are reaching almost 1 hour. Please tell me in a chat box, those who are participating, are you all finding this topic quite interesting, practical, or really mind-boggling, opening so much of things to your mind? Tell me, I'm asking all the participants, if you're really finding this topic, which was initially perceived as a theoretical, but so interesting, so useful for understanding sake. Am I right? So let's be with me. Okay. So I'm thanking each one of you, for your such a kind interest. Nook and corner of the topic. Okay, I will do. Definitely, I will do. If something is left out, I will definitely try to. All right. Now listen. This topic, which is very less discussed. So listen now, that's the reason I'm discussing with all of you. Now this client is telling me, sir, you take money, whatever you want. You have to present the case before the authority. I said, okay, I will do it. I met with the CGST DGGI team in Hyderabad. I have flown from Delhi to Hyderabad, met with the officials. When I met with the officials, official reaction, Mr. Jain, why you have come? Whoever asked you? You can't represent the subject matter. As per Delhi High Court judgment, advocate cannot be, and they are not allowed to sit at the time of proceedings going on. And this is called judicial proceedings. For, let me tell you, whenever any search, seizure proceedings goes on under section 70, when someone is being issued, this is called judicial proceedings under section 193 and 228 of Indian Penal Code. And Delhi High Court judgment is also there that the advocate, chartered accountant are not allowed during the proceedings. So he immediately bombarded me. Bimalji, you're not allowed. Why are you with him? No, you need not require to be. Listen very carefully. You need not require to be. Learning for you. Whenever you go and meet with the officials, be calm, be composed. First, you make it a point that you will not say much. Keep mum. Keep your mouth mum. 5 minutes. Allow him to say whatever he wanted to say. These are the techniques which I'm telling you. This is not written in any books, but I'm giving you a hand hold, my experience of 21 years. Allow him to bombard you. So he was bombarding me for 10 minutes, continuous 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, when he paused down a little bit, I said, sir, you are right. He chore. I said, you are right. He chore. Chore means you understood. He's a dishonest taxpayer. I'm saying everything in front of client. Can you believe? Then after saying he chore, I told my client, can you go a little outside? Let me speak to the sir. Then this client has gone outside. And I started speaking in a very soft language. No Bible, no book, nothing is there for this kind of, how to handle, which you are listening today. Take care. First 10 minutes, keep yourself mum, have patience to listen, whatever he's saying. Even he's throwing some abusive language, be calm and composed. Because there's a different way. Sometimes when we go to court, High Court or Supreme Court, sometimes even the lots of fired to the advocate for XYZ reason. If you are a good advocate and doing advocacy correctly, you will pause that moment to listen that what your counterpart is saying. He is wrong, 100% wrong. You know that he's wrong. But this is how to manage and handle. 10 minutes I was paused. I didn't say anything. Then after asking my client to go out, I said, sir, this client is agreeing that he has taken credit on bogus invoice. Oh, so I'm not defending him. Don't assume I've come to defend him. He is agreeing that he has taken credit on bogus invoice. Immediately, officer sounding back to me and telling me, Bimalji, but until yesterday, he was only saying, no, he has genuine case, he got all the conditions satisfied, eBay bill generated, he has taken correct credit. How come he was saying all this thing? I said, sir, he was not knowing the position. He was only saying that credit coming in two ways. I'm allowed to avail eligible credit. But he's agreeing that he has done a mistake and he's ready to settle down the case. After seeing and looking at my words, and since I was also enjoying some image, like you all people love me, that Bimal Jain is saying something, you love to listen to him. Some of the officers sitting in their office, they came to know and they also could recognize me. Oh, you're Mr. Bimal Jain, right? I've seen your video. You're such a learned speaker. We are learning GST from your video only. That's what other colleagues started sounding in front of my concerned officer. Then I told this concerned officer, sir, I'm not here who has come for the settlement. No, I'm not here. Believe me, I'm not come here for settlement. But I will help you out to get your file properly completed. After all, you are looking for the government revenue, and I'm looking for protection and interests of my client. That's all, nothing else. We both are doing our religious job. Then this officer, after cooling down, and it happened in the court of law as well, when lots of it's firing, he will fire for a moment, but after that he will pause, and then you have to slowly and slowly put your statement, put your words which you want to convey. But whenever other person is on aggressive mode, you should not be aggressive. Otherwise, you will spoil everything. Be calm, cautious enough, listen carefully, put your word accordingly. So I started saying, I said, sir, now he has done this mistake. He is agreeing for it. Then he asked me, Bimalji, since you're saying he is now agreeing, how he is going to pay the money, the ITC wrong credit which he has taken. Now I'm making out a case. Listen carefully. I said, sir, whatever credit he has taken on bogus invoice, you have to make out two things. The first thing, on such invoice, you may have also collected the tax either from B or from A. On the same invoice, this is the, called, you can say, supply chain with a little value addition or supply chain with no value addition. There are two cases. A raising invoice for 100 to B raising invoice to C, let's say 100, then neither A has paid anything nor B has paid anything because on 100 rupees value. C is taking credit, might be C, the genuine real person who is then doing value addition of 20%, 30% and paying the taxes on 20% or 30%. But for A and B, nothing has gone in their from their pocket. Nothing has gone from their pocket. But there may be a case that they may have paid some amount to the government exchequer. I said, sir, for the same transaction, you cannot have double taxation. If A or B have paid certain portion or percentage of that particular invoice, to that extent, you should not demand reversal from my client. Otherwise, it will tantamount double taxation. Please tell me in a chat box, have you understood this aspect? The aspect which I communicated, have you understood? Say yes in a chat box so that I will go accordingly. Say yes, you understood it. Okay. Once, please, sir. Advocate. Okay, I'm repeating just for the sake. For the sake, maybe he wanted me. Advocate NV Chari wanted me to say that. I said, sir, on same invoice, A charge 100 rupees, we charge 100 rupees, credit coming in the hands of C, maybe you may have collected because you have started search and seizure for A, B, and C. You were not knowing C. You came to know only because A was not having any 2A credit. Was not having any 2A credit. For sure, you have started your investigation, catch holding A, catch holding B, then only have reached to C, right? And that is what they're catch holding, believe me. I'm saying that if some portion which is paid by A or B, you should not demand as reversal by C. That is the point I made. If you demand reversal from C with portion of tax collected from A and B, it would tantamount double taxation. This is the point I made. Mr. Advocate Cherry, this is I said. Now have you understood it? All other participants have said yes. It is for you. I repeated. Have you got it? Tell me in a chat. Tell me in a chat box. Yes, you got it. Okay, all right. To that extent, you should not demand. First point. Second point I made. I said, sir, my client is ready and agreeing for that. If you take out that portion of double taxation, whatever left out, he will pay, but he wanted to have your support. He wanted that you should make it under installment. You should cut it under installment and take it, give him some time so that he can pay the liability. Second portion. For that, officer was saying that, Bimal, but you understand, this guy is not, we should not rely on him. I said, sir, I'm representing this client now. You can rest assured on me. So whenever you are picking up any client, make sure your word of statement given to the officer, it is your prestige, it is your position. So pick up the client when you are convinced your client is honest to you. What I've seen in the market sometime, client continue to confuse the doctor, consultant. They sometimes play even with the consultant and doctor. That is what I've experienced in the market. You need to be doubly sure when you're making statement on behalf of the client, putting affidavit under your signature. Don't do that. Please avoid to do that. To all tax consultant, I'm telling you, whenever you are writing something on behalf of your client and putting your signature, make it a point you take counter copy signed by your client. Make it a point you get counter copy signed by your client. Please, please, please. Have you understood it? Tell me in the chat box. Yes, this is really understandable. We must do that. Okay. Okay. All right. So having this thing, now this officer says, okay, I will do it. I will do it. Third, I asked them, sir, what is the position for arrest now? I do not know. A may have raised the invoice to my client, to B also, B to C also. Maybe A may have raised the invoice to XYZ. So his amount is more than 5 crore. Whether my party, my client, customer C, his amount of offense is less than 5 crore. But A or B has raised the invoice. For them, amount of offense is more than 5 crore. I was told by the government officer, Bimal, A and B got already arrested. They are under bar. They already got arrested. They are under bar. It was turn of C, but now since you have come into the picture and you're saying that you will help us to really, get this case properly settled, properly executed, properly completed, we will not take any coercive action. Believe me, we will not take. Provided your client must do the way he's supposed to do that. You need our support, we'll extend our support. Third point which I'm making to you. And then I asked this officer, sir, how come you could arrest A and B? Where from you got the information? Kaushal was asking me some time before, government officer coming back and telling me, Bimal ji, we saw GSTR 2A of A and B. First A, there was nothing, no credit, only output invoice, GSTR 1 with no 3B. We could immediately guess, we catch hold of A, he is under bar at the moment. Similarly, we have gone to B and we catch hold of B. And with the B, we have come to the C. This is how today government is catch holding such bogus transaction. And you know how much amount as on date government has lost? 1,20,000 crore in last 3 years. And that is the reason government is thinking of introduction of e-invoicing. Introduction of e-invoicing. That's the region. E-invoicing is going to be automated in time to come. I do not know how many of you are watching me and keeping watch on me. Lot of things I'm doing on different topic. Recently, day before yesterday, I did one program with Joe on e-invoicing. And I said 1,20,000 crore government lost in last 3 years just because of bogus invoices. With the e-invoicing, it will go away. Definitely go away. Kindly watch that video on YouTube. It is there on my YouTube channel, which you can watch later. Let me come back to the topic. So putting this request to the officer was quite now satisfied enough and given me the relief saying that, Bimal, we will handle this matter in a way which is amicable to you and amicable to us. And I'm concluding this case study number 1 with this scenario. And next case study would be, what happened to the chartered accountant and advocate who are the party in tax evasion with the client? That would be case study number 2. So I have completed my case study 1. Please tell me in a chat box that yes, case study number 1 you got completely. Second would be, what would be my position, chartered accountant position, advocate position, who is in connivance, hands in hands with client in tax evasion. So next case study would be, what would be our position? Okay. All right, great thumbs up. All those who are joining, they're liking the topic. That's very important. Next topic. What do you think? Whether a chartered accountant or a lawyer who is only doing return filing work for the client, and client is engaged in tax evasion, whether the chartered accountant and advocate can also be arrested. Question to you, tell me. Question to all of you, tell me in a chat box in yes or no whether chartered accountant or lawyer who is only helping filing return, but client is engaged in tax evasion, whether he can be put under bar. Okay, there's one guy, Avinash, provision yet to come. Okay, so Avinash is little learned. Surya Mal, as long as filed from his login credential, no role of chartered accountant or advocate. No, not yet. And Chari. Okay, listen carefully now. Listen carefully. What we normally do, whenever we take client registration, first of all, first mistake which we normally do, we put our email ID. First mistake. Mistake number one. Second, Leela, listen carefully. I'm going to tell you something very good. What normally wrong we are doing in the market. Whenever we are taking registration for the client, we always put our email ID, our mobile number. Use, okay, I never do so. So Suryam is saying, I don't do. It's a good part. And you should not do that. Believe me, you should not do that. You should not do that. Don't use your personal mobile number or your personal ID for client user ID and contact details. Write down in a bold golden color in your office. Don't use your mobile number and your email ID first. Second, there's one provision, section 122(1)(a) and 132 also got amended, but yet to be notified. 132 start with whoever commit, and then whoever causes to commit, whoever commit or whoever causes to commit, and who retain the benefit of these transactions, maybe supply of goods and services without invoice without supply of goods and services, credit on such bogus invoices. So even they have used the term who causes to commit. So our role, chartered accountant, advocate, tax consultant, they may fall in a trap of causes to commit. And how it is? Let me give you the case study number 2. And that also case I handle. That's the reason I'm telling you. One young dynamic, face, I'm not saying chartered accountant or lawyer so that it should not be defamed to any community, but a young boy came up to my office and said, sir, I want to consult with you. I said, come. And I told you, coming for consultation in my office, not free. It is not free. So meaning thereby, no free lunch, no free dinner. And you should also make a habit. Lot of persons are there, they always expect you to reply on WhatsApp. They expect you to reply on phone. They expect you over phone only. They will ask and you need to reply. Don't do such thing. Because over phone or over WhatsApp, what is the facts narrated to you may not be correct. And once you reply on their queries with half-hearted facts position, you may bound to make mistake. And your mistake, they are going to highlight in the market. Nahi, Bimal ji ne bola tha. Bimal ji said like this. He made the mistake. So all blame to Bimal Jain with no fees to Bimal Jain, asking only on WhatsApp and phone. See, doctor even does not prescribe anything like that. We have to change our mode of practice. We have to really what at most happen, he will say Bimalji does not reply over phone. Let it be. Let this message goes to the market that Bimal does not reply over phone. I need, if you want real consultation, come into my office. Discuss the fact. I will make sure whatever you pay 10 times saving to you. I will make sure whatever you pay 10 times saving. But do not expect free WhatsApp resolving query, phone call resolving query. Please avoid to do that, because such kind of fact are sometimes not narrated properly, not stated properly. Now, listen. He came to my office and he said, sir, I want to take guidance from you. I said, what guidance? He said, sir, I'm registered in Delhi. Listen carefully. These are all live case study. I'm not telling you from here and there. I'm not telling you theory also. I'm telling you what I've handled in my practice area. He said, sir, I'm registered in Delhi. Bhopal DGGI team, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. DGGI team came to my office, residence. They undertake search. They have issued me summon also. 15 times they have called me from Delhi to Bhopal. Delhi to Bhopal. 15 times summon is being issued. And they are harassing me, and they are putting a lot of pressure on me, and they are telling me they will arrest me. I asked him, what is the wrong you have done? Please tell me. He said, sir, I was only filing return for my client. I was only filing return for my client. Client approached to me that they wanted some premises. So I have let out my own premises. So they have changed their address. The client has changed the address to my premises because I let out the same. So I was getting little higher fees for return filing and some fees for letting out my premises for their registered premises, client registered premises. And authority is telling me that I'm the kingpin that who was filing return, who has allowed for raising of bogus invoice from Delhi to some Bhopal customer, to some Bhopal customers. Now the role of this guy, Mr. A, assume A, the role of Mr. A was, he was only filing the return and he has let out his premises to the client who was raising bogus invoice to the customer in Bhopal. So DGGI Bhopal has catch hold of the customers first. After catch holding these customers in Bhopal, they have raided this service provider's location. DGGI was an impression that Mr. A was the kingpin. 15 times summon was issued to him for appearance from Delhi to Bhopal. He used to go from Delhi to Bhopal, and he was from normal, I will say, low middle class family. Low middle class family. Looking at him, I never imagined that he can be the kingpin of this particular business. He said, sir, they will arrest me, sir. They are not listening my word. I've told him that Mr. A has communicated to the department who all were engaged, and all the concerned person who was the party for that company, they were running. They were not traceable. So this guy was, only within the hand of DGGI. And he was just a day before telling me, sir, they will arrest tomorrow again. Summon is being issued tomorrow again. I have to go. And I said, go, boss. You have come only at the 11th hour. I can't prepare anything. Tomorrow you go, and whenever next year coming, you come back. We will sit down with the case and discuss everything in totality. Unfortunately, the next day he has gone, he got arrested in Bhopal. He got arrested. So DGGI, after arresting as before, has presented him before judicial magistrate. He has remanded him for 14 days, 14 days in judicial custody. Now, with Riya Chakravarti, the case with Sushant happening, you would be thinking of this judicial magistrate, session court, high court. These terms are very interesting. And you must know, even in GST regime, when non-bailable offense, accused person can be arrested, and once get arrested, a charge sheet need to be filed, and it need to be filed and to be presented before session judicial magistrate first. He will 99.99% will order for the arrest, will confirm order for arrest. You need to go to the session court, division bench. 90%, 10% I'm saying relief I've seen. So 90% they will continue with that. Then you have got option of going to high court only. Now for me, my client got arrested in Bhopal. His family was sitting just before me and telling me, sir, what to do. We make out two things. First option before us was, let's file writ petition, but whether before session court or before high court. If I'm going to session court, then session court, I'm going to fight only on the point of that my client is not real accused. My client is not real accused. There's someone who is accused, other party. My client is not accused. But if I go to the high court, then I have to make out certain question of law. Then only high court going to entertain my writ. So next question came to our mind whether we should go to Delhi High Court or we should go to Bhopal High Court, MP High Court with Jabalpur bench. This was the question before us. And whenever we have to go to High Court, we have to make out a case why this arrest is not tenable. Question of law. So we thought of and we decided that we will file writ in Delhi High Court. So he got arrested in Bhopal, was in Bhopal jail. Recipient customer is in Madhya Pradesh, but my client was registered in Delhi. We said cause of action. First point we have picked up. What is the cause of action? Cause of action, the place where from it is generated, it is raised. So we make out a case in Delhi High Court saying that Lordship, my client registered in Delhi, cause of action arising from Delhi, if at all any investigation, inquiry, search, seizure need to be done, it must be done in Delhi. It cannot be done by Bhopal party. It cannot be done by Bhopal party. Bhopal DGGI. Had it been allowed, then what happened? Let's assume hypothetically, my client has raised bogus invoice to customer in 29 state. So all 29 state officer can go after my client and catch hold of him for arrest provision. It should be on the basis of cause of action, where from it has arisen. But let me tell you, these high court judgment are, you will find sometime goes on logic, sometime goes on beyond logic. Those who are doing this legal advocacy, they must be aware of that even in high court, number of things are coming on a right footing, number of things are coming on wrong footing. I can tell you in Calcutta High Court, one chartered accountant got arrested in tax evasion case in connivance with the client. He was under bar arrest for more than 90 days. One chartered accountant got arrested in Rajasthan under bar for long time period. Punjab and Haryana High Court advocate got arrested. He was under bar. I'm giving you these are the example where tax consultant, whoever might be chartered accountant or tax consultant, and they got arrested only on the premise that they were the party in connivance with the tax evader. That was the same, but in my case, he was made scapegoat. So Delhi High Court said no, since customer has availed credit in Bhopal, then cause of action can also be stated to be Bhopal, and it can be investigated, inquired, search and seizure all in Bhopal. If you want to make out a case, you go to MP High Court. So Delhi High Court was not satisfied enough. So I'm telling you the fact of the case. We went to the MP High Court, filed the writ. But while filing the writ, we did another smart thing. We have gone to the session court as well, division bench, for the bail. In division bench, our argument was that 60 days gone, my client was under bar, and even department could not submit a proper charge sheet against my client. This was the only point I made out. But the writ which was filed in Jabalpur bench of MP High Court, we were arguing on arrest provision. You cannot arrest someone who has not committed the offense. 132, committed the offense or causes to commit the offense. Silver lining, who committed the offense, who causes to commit. My party, my accused person was only filing return. Unfortunately, he has given his premises only for letting out purpose. Otherwise, he was not authorized signatory, not director, no signature, no DSC, nothing. So my client was only filing the return and unfortunately let out his premises. So we have cited in the High Court, he was not accused. Causes to commit. This was not effective as yet. 122(1)(a, not effective as yet. So we did both things. We filed the writ also. We have gone to division bench also. Division bench argument was different, that department could not submit charge sheet as an accused. Before our case come up before High Court, division bench granted relief, granted the bail, saying that department could not submit the proper charge sheet as if my client is accused. So the writ was there in MP High Court. After getting relief from division bench, we have withdrawn our writ from MP High Court, because why we will go and argue a case on legal footing when objective was to get relief of only from relief bail from arrest provision. This is what we did, and then we started doing everything in this regard. Now coming to the moot and silver lining point. Recently, Punjab and Haryana High Court and Rajasthan High Court has ordered and given the judgment also that just because chartered accountant and advocate filing the return, they cannot be termed as accused who has committed the offense unless and until it is proven. But if this law is amended, 132 subsection 1, 122(1)(a, if it is notified, then even causes to commit, meaning thereby you are the party who has induced, you are the party who have made help, you are the party who may have supported causes to commit. The point is getting broader and broader, even to catch hold of chartered accountant, advocate and tax consultant. Be careful. Be careful. This law is not being notified as yet, causes to commit. But as and when this is being notified, it would be real disaster. And we need to be careful enough. As a tax consultant, today I've seen GSTR 9 and 9C, I've seen in the market at what price we are signing 9 and 9C. I know the market position. We are just thinking GSTR 9 and 9C, nothing but a certification work. We are only doing reconciliation part, 1 versus 3B, 2A versus 3B, whatever figures provided by the client, put into the GSTR 9 and 9C and certification work, signing and giving back to the client at a price of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. I'm amazed how can and how come. This is complete diagnostic review. Tell me, if you're signing 9C as a chartered accountant and cost accountant, if you don't qualify, and which you're supposed to qualify, Don't make a mention in your 9C. Are you not party in connivance? Tell me, I'm asking this question to you. And give me answer in the chat box. Can't it be said tomorrow that you're the party in connivance? This is what I'm looking for. Please tell me. This is what really it is paining me a lot. Why we as a chartered accountant and cost accountant not understanding this aspect? 9 and 9C is not a certification work. It's not a certification work. Please, please, my dear friends, you are all my learned friends. My request to all of you, there are few those who are not understanding this aspect. But those who are understanding, at least they must really do something on their part. Do not accept the assignment till the time it is satisfactory to you. Let me tell you one guy came up to me and he had sent one WhatsApp message to me saying that he want to get his GSTR 9 and 9C done by me. He was from Chennai. I said, what is your turnover? He said 10 crore rupees. I said, how many registration you are having? He said, just one registration. What is your fees? How much you are going to charge? Tell me some rough idea. Give me some rough idea in a chat box. How much you are going to charge for a client? One registration with 10 crore rupees. How much? Just give me figure. I know that you may be hesitant to write figures in chat box, but I can tell you, maybe 10,000 maximum, maybe 15,000 maximum. I do not know, Mr. Suryam. You may be the luckiest guy. You may be a very luckiest guy. So that's what they see. Abhinash is saying, Siv Kumar Sethi is saying, my answer is, I told him I will charge 1 lakh rupees. Honest fact, I'm not hiding anything to you. I said I will charge 1 lakh rupees. He came up to me and then said, sir, you do 9 and 9C, but it can be signed by some other chartered accountant. Give me some relaxation in the fees. I said, I will do some relaxation. That's not a big issue, but I will do the quality work as if I'm signing that 9 and 9C. I will do that kind of work. Do not expect me that I will just do, hanky-fanky thing, pick up the figure, do the reconciliation 1 versus 3B for outward, 2A versus 3B for inward, ITC. No, I will not do like this. I will check your transaction. I will make sure that this transaction is correct or not. Let me take one example more and check it out. Let's say particular product is 12% GST leviable, 12% GST leviable. And this is the last case for today's submission. I could have continued a lot. I thought of 3 more case studies, but I can't go in a hurried manner. That's the reason. So maybe this is the last point which I will make today until 5, because then I got another some pre-occupancy. So maybe last one. Listen very carefully. For 9 and 9C I'm creating, and can I be party? Can I be party just to prove that? Causes to commit. Can I be the party just to prove this point? Let's say one product 12% GST leviable. Client also think 12% GST leviable. But your client had charged, leave client, I'm making vendor. A vendor had charged 28% or 18% as against 12%. Vendor had charged 18% or 28%. Let's say 18% charge instead of 12%. Being client, being customer, being recipient, my first question goes to you. A product which is normally chargeable to 12%, vendor had charged at 18%. Can you avail credit? First tell me in a chat box whether credit is available. Tell me in a chat box. Credit is available or not? To my mind, credit is available. To my mind, credit is available. If vendor has charged 18% as against 12%, credit is available because you have paid this amount to the vendor and vendor has deposited to the government exchequer. Unless until it is being proven that vendor and customer are in connivance for tax evasion. And how this tax evasion can happen? That vendor is having ITC accumulation of ITC and customer client recipient is having output tax, he normally pays in cash. So he has used this route that vendor has applied 18%, use his accumulated ITC for discharging the liability, of which customer has taken credit now using with output tax liability. Both has come into connivance. If it is proven in this manner, then credit in the hands of customer would be denied. In the hands of customer would be denied. 100% would be denied. So a simple transaction. I said credit available. I said just a while ago. Then I'm saying credit not available. It has been proven. Am I not really supposed to look at GST rate applied on my outward supply is correctly picked up or not? Today you have seen that big dispute of that you have seen hand sanitizers, 12% versus 18%. So much of dispute, big hue and cry, right? 12% or 18%. Lot of investigation got started. They have arrested some person. Why 12%, 18%? So filing GSTR 9 and 9C, only you will pick up 1 and 3B for reconciling your outward supply. That's all. Nothing else. Or only availing credit, you will pick up 2A versus 3B. I said, even though credit not coming in 2A, credit is available. I made out a case. I told you credit available, section 16, subsection 2, clause C, credit available. Why you will look at that credit not coming in 2A, credit not available? So I'm saying reconciliation statement 9C is not only certification work. What is causes to commit? That's what the important, this was what we were discussing. My only humble point for all of you. The topic was search, seizure, arrest provision. Just to summarize some of the important points. Now, summon, if issued by any department, CGST department, you must check whether it is having DIN number or not. Document identification number of not. If DIN number is not there, then that is called invalid, void document, CGST. Even Kerala SGST has also came out with similar kind of provision that DIN is compulsory for all communication, as similar to the central government circular and circular number 122 and 128 that you can follow effectively from 13th of December 2019. From CGST perspective, it must have compulsory any notice, any communication, including email communication, must have DIN number for section 77. In such case, it is being stated, that when investigation, inspection and search, section 67, and section 67 can be initiated by any proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner, not below the rank of joint commissioner, and has reason to believe. The word used, has reason to believe. And there also they have made out specified cases where inspection, search and seizure. And for seizure, again, they have said how the order need to be given, INS 01, INS 02, prohibition, search, then seizure order, then prohibition, INS 03, INS 04. So lot many things could have been discussed at length, but I thought of practically picking up arrest provision. Even 2-3 case studies are left out. Time is not with me. We have reached to the 5 o'clock. But let me ask one thing. This would be the last question to my learned audience. How many of you are really in touch? You're following Bimal Jain either on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. How many of you are connected with me? Please tell me. Please. So I'm just seeing, if not, my humble submission. As I said, I am always trying my best, whatever best possible to make GST good and simple tax. You can join me on my website. You can subscribe your email ID. You can join our my YouTube channel, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all free of cost. I only want to serve to the nation to the extent possible, whatever free CSR, corporate social responsibility, which I can do, I'm trying from my side. I'm trying best from my side. I only want my all learned audience, my learned participants, my learned friends, pan India. You all are the person who is liking Bimal Jain, and your voice is taking me high. So I really carry responsibility of. I carry responsibility of really extend whatever best I can do from my side. That's what I'm trying. So within 2 hours, whatever best possible, I have delivered, given practical insight, given practical way of this theory topic of search, seizure, and arrest. Last and foremost, I'm sure I made this theoretical topic in a practical way, and I have deliberated the things which you must have loved in a practical way. So if you have really liked it, I'm sure I've tried my best, and that's what I expect that you must have got number of good input whenever you look at search, seizure, and arrest provision. So thanking each one of you from core of my heart for listening so carefully, patiently, highly appreciating your contribution and participation. That in this chat box that you were all throughout with me, and you were participating all along with me. So thanking each one of you for your lovely participation. Now back to the organizers, and I must convey my thanks to the organizers, all three Tax Bar Association president and all distinguished managing committee member for inviting me. And it would be my pleasure that I will continue to have this kind of relationship and would be willing to come next whenever I'm being asked to come on your panel. Thanks for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vimalji. In fact, I'll tell you, sir, when GST had come initially, there was a concept called export with payment of duty, without payment of duty. That was such a tricky part. I continue because end of the day refund is coming. What is with payment? So continuously I heard 25 times. Finally, I got that concept. So I'm telling you, sir, you are my first GST guru, sir. Frankly speaking.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Very happy to see you here, sir. So
just
over to
just let me give my mobile number. I promise that I will give you my mobile number.
yes, sir.
So all the participants can take down my mobile number. They can send their handmade note, which they have captured today. 98 106 04 563. 98 106 04 563. So Avinash has written my mobile number in a chat box, which you can take down. And let's be in touch. Send your handmade note. Let's see. I will definitely see your handmade note and will definitely revert back with my observation. Thanking each one of you to be a great in their future career. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Over to the President C. Ramdev Mudra for his closing remarks.
थैंक यू रितेश. विमल जी, हिंदी में थोड़ी बात करना चाहूंगा आपसे.
मैंने अंग्रेजी में आज क्यों बोला मालूम है? कल लोग ये ना बोले कि आप हैदराबाद में आके हिंदी में क्यों बोलते हैं.
नहीं, जो मजा आपसे हिंदी में सुनने में आएगा ना, वो अलग ही रहेगा. पहली चीज तो ये आपने जितना भी आज हमें समझाया, इसका मैं हिंदी में पूरा लिख के न्यूज़पेपर में देने वाला हूँ. फिर आप मुझे बताइए कि हिंदी में भी कैसा लिखा जाता है लाखों. पहली चीज. और दूसरी चीज मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा सर कि जो सर्च सीजर अरेस्ट वाले प्रोविजंस है, अभी जैसा इन इनकम टैक्स भी है और जीएसटी में भी है, इसके अंदर आर्टिकल 14 वाला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का मसला कुछ इंटरैक्ट होता है. उसके ऊपर कुछ करना चाहिए. बिकॉज आपने जैसा कहा कि वो ऑडिटर्स वगैरह को भी बुलाने नहीं देते. So what I mean to say, these are violative of that article. So they must provide that opportunity. Why can't? Actually, in fact, that may turn out to be helpful for the department also. If they get good advice from the consultant. Only thing is that what you have said, whether client is genuine or not, honest or not, so it is a practical thing what we have seen in otherwise also in search seizure in income tax. They are more sharper than us. They take us to right. Till the time they won't fall into very big trap. It is clients are very sharp, I too admit. So that's why we have to be to bit forward with them while dealing with them. Sir, your presentation was really super, and we are not contented with it. We need more time from you, as per your convenience, because there are a lot of issues and subjects in GST. Now we can't say it is new, but it is ever changing. So we are unable to grapple with it. These fast changes which have been made based on the requisitions demands of trade, industry, and even practicing fraternity, we are unable to keep track of all these things. So whenever possible in future, whenever we request you on very different varied topics, kindly help us out in guiding us. I will not say it is a lecture meeting. It is only a guiding and inspiring session we had. It is not. It was not a lecture meeting. It was inspiring and guiding. We had.
सर मैंने ऐसे ही किया था आज मैंने क्या किया, मैंने आप लोगों को इन्वॉल्व किया। मैंने कहा मैं अकेले अकेले करता रहूं। आपने कहा था कि बिमल जी आप जब फिजिकल मीटिंग में आते हैं तो हम लोग को एकदम समय नहीं देते, हमको लगता है पता कैसे कैसे जुड़ गए हम आप। मैंने हो सकता है वर्चुअल मीटिंग में भी आपको ये प्रेजेंट करके दिखाया कि आप मेरे साथ ऐसे ही बैठे हुए थे, अगर आप मेरा टॉपिक सुन रहे हो, कि आपको हिलने का मौका नहीं मिला होगा।
Really, it was really absorbing. इसको शब्दों में कहना तो बहुत ही मुश्किल है। मैं आपको व्हाट्सएप में मैं एक शेयर जरूर कहूंगा, व्हाट्सएप पे दूंगा, क्योंकि words are not enough.
Thank you, sir.
What you have said about all these things.
Thank you.
So I am really grateful on behalf of Tax Bar and Chamber of Commerce, Telangana, and Rajasthani Graduate Association. Really, I not only appreciate, we are grateful to you for your excellent presentation, sir.
Thank
And if it would have been physical presence, a thundering standing ovation would have been given.
नहीं सर,
Attendance, sir, because of this weather problem, we have noticed, we have received messages also that on one system 4 to 5 persons have participated.
okay.
This is how in more than 50% of the participations how they have joined.
Thank
This
you.
is the message we have received.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
It
much.
was beneficial to all of us, and
Thank you.
across the both Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and out of Telangana and AP also many people have joined.
Thank you,
Just
sir.
I wanted to share it for you, sir. And
Thank you, sir.
to you once
Thank
again
you.
with the
Thank
all
you.
hopes and expectations that your blessings will shower on us continuously.
Keep
With-
your blessings as well on me. I also need blessings of all of you on me as well, because I'm also human being. I'm also not परे, मुझे भी आपका आशीर्वाद, प्यार, लव, अफेक्शन सब चाहिए। आपके बिना मैं कहाँ जाऊंगा?
सर आप ऐसे डॉक्टर है जिसकी मुस्कान से मरीज की आधी बीमारी दूर हो जाती।
ऐसे करते रहना चाहिए। लाइफ का कुछ पता नहीं है रामदेव जी, मैं बताऊं, लाइफ अभी है, अगला पल किसी को नहीं मालूम। कुछ
Sure, sir.
ऐसा करो कि हम रहे ना रहे पर हमारी याद जरूर रहे।
वो तो है सर। आप वैसे व्यक्ति है जो भूले नहीं जाते।
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
With these few words which I have, I would like to thank you again, and for formal thanks, etc., I hand over to Ritesh, our secretary.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And on behalf of, in fact, this program was jointly conducted by Telangana Andhra Pradesh Tax Bar Association, the Federation of Telangana and Telangana Chamber of Commerce, and Rajasthani Graduates Association. And for a formal vote of thanks, I request our Joint Secretary, Mr. Madhusudan Boja, to propose a vote of thanks. Over to Madhusudan Boja. Sir, you have to unmute yourself. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
That's
Our thank you, Ritesh, and
yes.
our dynamic Golden Jubilee President, Presiding Officer, Ramdev Puttada ji, and other GC members, and Rajasthani Credit Association, Telangana Chamber of Commerce, and my dear professional colleagues, the need of the hour has been covered by the Tax Bar Association, and I need not tell much about the CA Vivaldian Sam. Really, I attended, I think 3-4 years back, sir. I think 4-5 years back, I attended your seminar where I gave my email ID. Every day I see your mail. I see you in person. Really, the informative, so much information is coming. You need not worry to go to the GOs also. It's a sir. Please keep maintaining the track, sir. I request all my professional colleagues also. Please send your email ID. They will research. They will send a free of cost. Really, it's a free of cost, very informative. And the personality whom the people of Hyderabad knows everyone, in my opinion, the city of Nawabs and Kebabs, the Sherwanis and Biryanis, and Pearls and Gems. And I wholeheartedly thank on behalf of the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana Tax Bar Association and Rajasthani Credit Association and Telangana Chamber of Commerce to you and seek same kind of cooperation in our future programs, sir. Really, sir, महीने को एक बार नहीं तो 2 महीने को एक बार आपको प्रोग्राम देना चाहिए सर टैक्स बार को हमारे को हौसला मिलेगा और नॉलेज मिलेगा I think finally I thank each and every my professional colleagues and taxpayers and students because the future is in the hands of students only for participating and making the program a grand success. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
रितेश, विमल जी का मेमेंटो आपके घर पे ही है.
विमल जी हैदराबाद आएंगे जब दे देंगे.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू विमल जी, नमस्कार.
Thank you, ji.
Yes,
Namaskar.
yes,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the section.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tomorrow we have another meeting on company settlement, LLP settlement and fresh startups at 3 p.m. Please don't forget to join it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.